Malka ma'am, we are live on Facebook and we are good to go. So you can take the event further. Thank you.
A very good evening to one and all present here. A very good evening, especially from India. And I welcome you all to this evening at SHIELD 2021 to celebrate World Literacy Day, followed by World Suicide Prevention Day 2021. Friends, we have great educators who have joined us today here to add on to the evening. Well, let me introduce your moderator for this evening. I, Malka Grewal, Cambridge School Edu Leader, along with my co-moderator Winnie, another educator from Taiwan, will take you through today's evening. I personally feel blissful and fortunate to have you all for SHIELD 2021. Friends, Team Global Educators Fraternity, welcome you all on board. Now, I would like to apprise you a little bit about our co-founder, Ms. Rachna Bhimrajka, co-founder of Global Educators Fraternity, is a dynamic, enthusiastic, innovative, dedicated, and a focused entrepreneur and an educationist. She is a social activist, an influencer, co-author, graphologist, curriculum designer. She is an edupreneur for more than 2 decades. So far, she has trained more than 125,000 students, and she works for women empowerment and Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. She has trained thousands of teachers and made them financially independent. She is associated to many social and educational organizations, and she is a proud recipient of multiple awards for her untiring efforts. I'll put it in very short. She is also a World Book Record holder of World Book Records from UK. She has few of her accolades that I will mention to you. Dada Saheb Palke Icon Award 2019, Innovative Learning Award from Education Council of India 2020. She has been conferred with 11 honorary doctorates and 2 honorary professors. I welcome on board Rachna Bhimrajka ma'am to welcome the August gathering. The virtual dais is all yours, ma'am.
Firstly, I would like to thank Malka ma'am for such a warm welcome and namaste from India. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all present here. I, on behalf of the entire team of Global Educators Fraternity, extend a warm welcome to both my moderator and co-moderator Malka ma'am and my darling Winnie, along with the other panelists, keynote speakers, and other distinguished guests at the August gathering present here. With us today and watching us live on Facebook, I may not be able to address you individually, but a warm welcome to each one of you from Global Educators Fraternity. Today, Global Educators Fraternity have joined to deliberate, discuss, and devise a blueprint out to the vision, one of the visions of Global Educators Fraternity, which is today's deliberation will focus on the global literacy and mental health to prevent the suicidal tendencies. As per UNESCO, International Literacy Day 2021 will explore how literacy can contribute to building a solid foundation for a human-centered recovery, with a special focus on the interplay of literacy and digital skills required by non-literate youth and adults. It will also explore what makes technology-enabled literacy learning inclusive and meaningful to leave no one behind. By doing so, International Literacy Day 2021 will be an opportunity to reimagine future literacy, teaching and learning within and beyond the context of pandemic. With this, I would request Ms. Malka Grewal to take the event ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, my dear guests, my dear friends, my dear mentors, let us proceed towards our evening. 8th of September was proclaimed International Literacy Day. So, friends, we are here to celebrate the same. We are an emerging organization with global educators with our recent launch. And we had educators from all across the globe who joined hands to bring a change in the society. We are definitely going to move to physical events soon. So before we proceed further, let me apprise you with the mission, vision, and the further plans to help you understand us better. So friends, welcome to Shield 2021, and I will take you through our mission and vision of Global Educators Fraternity. Aim of GEF is to mentor best practices and to upgrade already established practices to serve the community and meet the societal needs. It aspires to promote education through various domains of learning, such as cognitive and social emotional skills. Our vision. Our vision is to acquire skills and knowledge to promote sustainable development goals and to provide a network for expanding the spirit of creativity, innovations, and to prepare the young generations with great values globally to make the world a better place. Our mission. Our mission is to nurture the global learners with introspection and educations with the guidance of the experts, to bring a revolution in the education fraternity, to achieve a long-term sagacious transformation on how citizens think and act, to develop the key competencies needed in all the facets of life. Friends, our upcoming aspirations, I will take you through them quickly. We are ready with all kinds of webinars and workshops for the betterment of the learners and the society at large. We believe in enhancing the personal traits and professional skills of the citizens globally. We also believe in broadening the horizons of knowledge to underprivileged learners in less progressive zones. We wish to create awareness programs about health and hygiene. And we are coming up with seminars on vocational and career counseling, and the list is never ending. Webinars and workshops for the betterment of each one. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. So friends, let's take the evening further. 8th of September was proclaimed International Literacy Day by UNESCO in 1996 to remind the entire community of the importance of literacy for the individuals, communities, and societies, and the need for the intensified efforts towards more literate societies. Friends, International Literacy Day this year was celebrated under the theme Literacy for a Human-Centered Recovery, narrowing the digital divide. We all know, even in the times of global crisis, efforts have been made to find alternative ways to ensure the continuity of learning, including distance learning, often in combination with in-person learning. Access to literacy learning opportunities, however, has not been evenly distributed. The rapid shift to distance learning also highlighted the persistent digital divide in terms of connectivity, infrastructure, and the ability to engage with technology, as well as disparities in other services, such as access to electricity, which was a learning option for all of us. So today, we, the Global Educators Fraternity, along with all our panelists, will explore how literacy can contribute to the building of a solid foundation for human-centered recovery. So now I would take the honor to introduce and invite our first panelist for this evening. So my first panelist would be Ruben.
Malka ma'am, he
Yes.
is not able to log in. He just messaged technical issues. So we can start with the Sanjeev sir. So we will introduce Ruben sir when he joins us.
Okay, sure, ma'am. So friends, I will hand it over to my friend, my co-moderator, and my special cute friend, I would say, to take the show further and introduce Mr. Sanjeev. Over to you, Winnie.
Hi, everyone, dear guests and educators around the world. And thank you, dear Dr. Malka and dear guest. So I'm so honored to be here. I'm in Taiwan, sending my greetings to all of you, great educators around the world. Such a pleasure and honor to be here. I'm so proud to be part of the GEM community. And also today, the topic, the Shield 2021. We are here to talk about world literacy. Yes, we are here. We are the shield to stop the cycle of illiteracy. So it's my great honor to invite our speaker today. So before I start, I want to say that literacy is a blessing, but most of us take it for granted. So there are some shocking data survey from the UNESCO. So based on the survey, there are 775 million adults struggling with the basic literacy. So what is the literacy? The basic life skill to read and write with numeracy skill. So they are unable to communicate with the world, even the life skill. So these are very shocking data. And even among this data, to observe the illiteracy suffering are women and young children. So world literacy is also celebrated as a World International Education Day. So it's very important to see that how education can help and stop the vicious cycle of illiteracy. So it's my great honor to invite our speaker, Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor from India. So Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor is the chairman of a sports grade literacy company and also ambassador from Commonwealth Enterprise Club. And also he is a Lifetime Achievement Awardee 2021 by VBFT. It's our great honor to invite Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor to have an enlightened share his thoughts about literacy, much more than educational priority. So Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor, please take the floor.
Thank you very much and good evening to all of you. Good afternoon to all of you. I think the responsibility given to me, I thought I was the second, but the responsibility which has been on my shoulder is to speak first on the subject matter. So I must start that, the priorities. If you look at the priorities, every individual or every organization has the priorities. Some priorities can be explicit and international, while other priorities are never spoken in words, but demonstrated in actions. Our action speaks louder than, our words actually. So no matter how many priorities you may have, there can be only one top priority, and every priority afterward is subject to either being of a greater or lesser than a competing priority. To say it is simply when two priorities come into conflict, one always wins. So here the priorities are literacy as well as the education. So we don't want that anybody to win. We want that both of them to win, because literacy and the education goes hand in hand. So let me start with the quote, which I remember. Literacy is much more than an educational priority. It is the ultimate investment in the future and the first step towards all the new forms of literacy required in the 21st century. We wish to see a century where every child is able to read and to use this skill to gain autonomy. It is by UNESCO Director Journal, unquote. So, literacy, I must say that is a human right. It is basically a tool of personal empowerment and a means for social and human development. Educational opportunities, I underline educational opportunities, depends upon literacy. Literacy is at the heart of basic education for all and essential for eradicating the poverty, reducing child mortality, curbing population growth, achieving gender equality, and ensuring the sustainable development, peace, and democracy. So these are the good reasons why literacy is at the core of education for all, shortly termed as EFA. A good quality basic education equips pupils with literacy skills for life and further learning. Literate parents are more likely to send their children to the school. Literate people are better able to access continuing educational opportunities, and literate societies are better geared to meet pressing development. So the literacy, eradicating of the literacy is very, very important to come out with the flying colors and to understand the environment in such a manner that you can avail all those facilities which are around you, which are surrounding the world in a much better manner. Learning to be literate is too important to allow it to become a confusing battleground of ideologies as adults fight to establish their preferred methods as the only way to teach children to read. The key is to be concerned more with the child than with the program. I must say that no program should be included or thrown out at the expense of the other, because every program which we develop has its own pros and cons. So the key is to monitor the progress of each and every child to see what works and to be flexible enough to switch quickly if one approach is not working on some child and the other approach is very well suited to the same child. So the literacy is the most essential prerequisite for individual empowerment. It is associated with a wide spectrum of benefits. It enhances the capabilities of individuals, families, and communities in terms of access to health, educational, economical, political, and cultural opportunities. Therefore, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 recognized literacy as the human right and committed to education for all. Indian planners too have recognized this role of education in shaping the social economic development of the country. So at the time of independence, India inherited a legacy of large scale of literacy and lack of proper provision for education. And since then, literacy has been considered as one of the priority areas for the focus and for the development of our country. I basically cite an example where I am involved with the Sports Association Academy of India, where the very mandate of the program is that it is the economical employable program for everyone. So we have to preach, we have to teach the society that this is the program which is very economical and available to all at a very, very cheaper price. And more so, the slogan is Khelega India to Khilega India. The SPA India is basically architect for developing the sports education in India. And we have all the curriculums which are there to facilitate all our coaches, all our teachers, all our students, all our aspiring sports people, all our athletes, all our people. And this is the program which is a copyright from Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Human Resource Development of India. So I think unless and until we eradicate the literacy, I must say that the literacy and the education goes hand in hand. Unless and until we empower both, I think alone they cannot work together. So I think these are my thoughts for the evening. Thank you very much for having me in the session. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful, sharings with all of us. And thank you for being here with us. And
Thank you.
You did stick to the timeline. I would also request all my other panelists to kindly stick to the timeline so that we can wind up in time, and we must respect everybody's time.
I think Dr. Malika, I have strictly adhered to the timelines.
Definitely, sir. That is why I have specifically mentioned that. And I even expect the same from all our other panelists and speakers, so that we need to respect each other's time and let's stick to our timelines. Thank you so much, sir. I would do the honor to invite our next speaker. But before I do that, I would like to place on record a very, very warm welcome to Bhatia sir, Narinder Bhatia sir, who has joined us here, and Rajput sir. Sir, we welcome you on board to Shield 2021. So our next panelist, Ruben, I may not be pronouncing your full name because I'm not very sure, so kindly excuse me for that. So Ruben is an educator and English language teacher with 32 years of experience in ESL and ELT. He holds a degree in education and Master of Applied Linguistics in TESOL in NSW, Australia. He is a teacher trainer accredited by Cambridge English Language Assessments, Board of Directors at IATEFL Peru, and the list goes on. So I've just picked a few of the things for his introduction. And Ruben, so we welcome you to Shield 2021, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Greetings from Lima, Peru. Am I audible enough to all of you? Great. Well, let me start by telling you that learning to read and write is a basic skill that unfortunately not everybody acquires sufficiently. Lack of teachers and time in school are some of the reasons, but in addition, the enormous rise in informational activities due to the internet and other information technology enabled opportunities has made literacy skills increasingly important to ever more people. This means literacy education must be improved to more children in the world get better chances. In order to contribute to developing better methods for learning to read and write in early years, this work that all teachers do in their entire professional life in order to teach how to read and write to children tests a new method developed to improve reading and writing learning in early ages. The information and communication technologies supported integrated right to learn method lets children in first grade use computers and other information and communication technology tools to write texts and subsequently discuss and refine them together with classmates and teachers. Handwriting is postponed to second grade. While the traditional method requires students to go through two development processes in parallel, a cognitive learning to read and a motor learning to write with a pencil. Integrated right to learn works with one process at a time. First, cognitive development, then from grade 2, motor skills training. Integrated right to learn extends previous right to learn, right to read methods by more social work methods using a website and peer comment for providing social meaning and feedback. The method was tested using 2 test groups and 2 control groups, in total 87 students, by systematically measuring performance in reading and writing using standard tests in combination with observations and student evaluation to assess social and individual effects to work methods. The results show that while reading skills were improved considerably, the biggest improvement concerned writing skills. Students in the test group wrote longer tests with better structure, clear content, and more elaborate language. So if we take into account our social environment and the surroundings that the students are involved in, going to work or getting classes, the work of the teachers will be thoroughly efficient through engaging the students' skills in order to develop writing and reading. Then literacy is very important for all of us in order to grow in a world and to be informed. Because while you read, you can become aware of everything that happens in the whole world and how to protect our planet. That is the issue, because we need to live in a sustainable world. And the more literate the people are, the better prepared they are to face global problems and to develop the problem-solving skills. That is why we are here for, in order to tell the whole world that literacy is a very important tool to succeed in life. Thank you very much. Greetings from Lima, Peru.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruben. I'm today's moderator. I'm Winnie from Taiwan. Say hi to you and greeting from Taiwan. Nice to have you and such a wonderful insight from the importance of literacy. So from your speech, we know that it's very important to promote this literacy. So I think today we are here on a mission to spread the message, awareness of literacy, and also we need to promote good quality of education. And furthermore, we need to develop people's skill to learn. And most important, we need to stop the illiteracy of the vicious cycle. From Dr. Ruben, your sharing, we know we need to start from early ages and educator, the teaching skill. We need to teach literacy efficiently is very important. Yeah, so now it's my honor to talk about and invite another speaker from
my friend Winnie. I would just like to interrupt. We have a guest with us.
Okay,
So
yes.
I would just like to welcome them. Then you can carry
Yes,
forward.
yes.
Okay, I place on record our warm welcome on behalf of the entire GEF team to Queen Nadia, who's joined us here today. Queen Nadia, can we have you on the screen to share a few words with us?
Oh, I didn't expect that. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Sorry, I cannot open my video because I don't have enough connection, good connection. So I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. The topic is very, very interesting. Literacy is something that we have to go towards, you know. And education should be also free for everybody. What we have to think is how to give an education to everybody, to every child all over the world who have no access to education, because we have so many villages and so many children, they have no school, they have nothing. And this is why we have just to think about that and to be united and find a solution for this, these children. They are all our children and they are our future. So thank you so much. I don't know what to say more, and I am here, I'm listening to the speaker, and thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Queen Nadia, for sharing your words of wisdom with us. Thank you so much. Over to you, my friend Winnie.
Yes, thank you, Queen Nadia. Your presence is the most precious support. We are grateful to be, here with you. You are with us. Thank you for your presence here. Okay, so next I will move on to talk about from Dr. Ruben's sharing. Education is quite important and play a critical role. So literacy is not about just education. It's a unique and powerful tool to eliminate the poverty. And also, literacy is a strong means for racial and social and human progress. So from after pandemic COVID-19, even the time of a global crisis, effort has been made to find alternative ways to encourage the literacy. But after pandemic, access to literacy learning opportunity has not been evenly distributed. So it's a really critical point to check and examine what are the challenges and obstacles and ways to enhance literacy. So it's my great honor and pleasure to invite a great speaker from Brazil. She is Mrs. Vilma Barbosa from Brazil. She's been an English teacher for 16 years and co-founder of a global university and member of a various international organizations. She has been working on lots of international projects in which her students are able to communicate with people all around the world through online meeting, email, letter, and video, and so on. So she teaches her students to be confident and believe in themselves. Then they'll be empowered to go wherever they would like to go. So such a wonderful educator. We are here. Can't wait to hear from you. So Miss Vilma, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Brazil. Thanks for having me here in this platform on this special day to talk about literacy, the World Literacy Day. Well, here in Brazil, as many countries around the world, we have lots of problems with equality. And the main reason for that is that Brazil is known of one of the highest levels of income, and it is due to education. But what could be done to help with that? First of all, we have to prepare teachers and pay them a better salary, teach them how to use technology. Once we became with the pandemic last year, we were told to teach home from our computers, but most of the teachers, they didn't have even a computer at home. And from one day to another, we had to deal with that. We had to work with that, but no one taught us how to do that. And if even teachers didn't have a computer, can you imagine the kids? Oh my gosh, they didn't have a computer, they didn't have a cell phone, and then they couldn't be taught from home. And it was a really real problem. Nowadays, our kids are coming back to school, but we're facing another problem. Our kids are afraid to go back to school. They are afraid to face their classmates again. They are afraid to face the world. So now I'm really afraid of what we are doing with our kids, because we're placing them at school again. And I see that some teachers, they are just worried about teaching how to read, how to write. And some of them are not worried what's going on with our students. They're not worried like what they're facing, if their families have some problems, because many of our students, unfortunately, they lost their, some of them lost their parents, some of them lost their relatives. And then I believe that we teachers, we have to be worried, not just to teach them how to read and write, but we have to worry, what are they feeling? And sometimes it's necessary that we stop everything. I do like that sometimes. I stop my classes, and then because I can see on their face that they're not okay. I think it's important that we teach our students to share their emotions. It's not just important teaching them how to write, how to read, how to understand the text. It's also necessary to teach them how to share their emotions. We have to teach them that it's important also share their emotions, and this way they will learn how to understand others. They will understand their classmates, because sometimes they come to school but they have many problems at home, and if they are facing some problems, they are not able to learn. So we have to stop everything and listen to them, make them feel more comfortable to learn. And once they feel better with their emotions, once they talk with us, we can understand them, and then sometimes we can prevent lots of problems. Last year I was talking with one of my students, and I discovered that he was facing serious problems and he had tried against his life. And then I was feeling that, and thank goodness I stopped and talked with him. I can't imagine what could happen if I hadn't stopped and talked and listened to him. That was a way I helped him. So we have to do that sometimes. Stop everything, listen to our students, show that we are interested, show that we are interested about their lives, and we have to show that we love them, because sometimes they don't have the love of their families. Their parents can't show that. But if they feel that we are worried, that we are there for them, just not to teach them, but that we care about them, they will come to school and they will learn in a better way. So we have to teach kids how to worry about others, even more than just write and read. It's really important that we care about them. So this is what I think about literacy. It's really important teaching how to write, to read, but there are more things to teach them. To care about others is the most important thing. Thank you for having me here.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Wilma. I think what you mentioned is really important. I think from your sharing, you share about the situation, education system in Brazil, and not only, from promote literacy, we definitely need to start from teacher. And also from your sharing, we learned that I think it's not about a skill or technology, even electricity. I think definitely a teacher's mindset is quite important. So I think what you mentioned, I think put a new angle to our promoting world literacy. Because of before literacy, you should, as an educator, we should put, the kids, Maslow, I think it's a theory about put a Maslow into Bloom. So we need to care about our learners' emotional well-being. That's also another, very important issue after pandemic. So definitely, I think literacy is not more than writing, reading, and also we need to care to promote emotional literacy. Thank you, Teacher Wilma from Brazil, bring this as such an important message to us. So, okay, so let's move on. I would like to invite another speaker from Philippines.
Winnie,
yes,
we have our one guest from our Ministry of India government, Dr. Sanjeev.
Welcome.
Sir, so we would like to have few words from you on literacy.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening to all here present. So it's my honor to just giving me the opportunity to just say a few words about all. So thank you once again, Dr. Rachna Bhimrajka and all the co-hosts for today's event. So namaste from India. Good evening to all. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. So I think you had already delivered the nice presentations and talking about the literacy. So everybody knows about that. Without the literacy, how we can achieve anything. just like we are talking about all the SDGs, because all the SDG 4 relating to our education. So without education, no SDG, other goals of 16 means the 17 goal, how they, so they are interlinked each other. So education is playing a very important role in every sector. And all these about to say a few words only, because I have never prepared any presentation and all. So Rachna ma'am just asked me to just share a few words. Thank you once again. And Rachna is also playing a very key role about all our spreading the education through these webinars and all her this learning to this. She has already one very good platform, Global Fraternity. So once again, I am very much thankful to all to just giving me a few words and to few times for sharing my views. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev, for being here with us and sharing the words with us. Your being with us is more than anything. Thank you so much. Over to you, Winnie.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. So it's really great to have your support. Your presence is a tremendous support. Like all the honorable speakers say, education, literacy work hand in hand. So we definitely would like government work hand in hand with educators. Thank you for your support to be here. So next, I would like to invite a speaker from Philippines. So she will talk about literacy, teaching and learning in COVID-19 crisis and beyond. So this topic is quite important. Remind us, after the pandemic, it's a reminder of the critical importance of literacy. Beyond the importance as part of the right to education, it's a human right and social justice. Literacy is an integral part of education and lifelong learning, permission on human as defined by the SDG goal, equal education. So literacy, therefore, is essential to human-centered recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. So it's our great honor to invite our speaker, Dr. Lilibeth GreGorio from Philippines. She is principal of a WVS Integrated School from Philippines, and she is also a Global Academy of Human Excellency, Ambassador for Women Affairs, CEFI President, and she's also an author, writer, of an international speaker, community development leader. So it's my great honor to invite Dr. Lilibeth. So Dr. Lilibeth, the floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, world. And I'm so very grateful, Dr. Rashna, for inviting me here. And of course, my task is literacy, teaching, and learning in COVID-19 crisis and beyond. Education should be made more sustainable, accessible, especially for the learners and school-age children in the earliest grade levels. This because early grade levels or learners need the most basic and fundamental emergent literacy instruction in order to establish and quantify their academic and educational foundation. When emergent literacy skills are well established among the early graders, their skills and abilities to cope with early academic demands and challenges of learning could also be reinforced. Even in the midst of this global and educational crisis, emergent literacy instruction could still be sustainably offered to early grade learners via the use of different learning delivery modalities. The use of these alternative learning methods provides early grades with opportunities to access and receive quality emergent literacy, instruction, training, and mentoring even without direct face-to-face instructions. As the face-to-face learning due to COVID-19 pandemic was banned, it becomes difficult for all teachers to motivate learners to read both in their leisure time. Since children of today's generation are commonly found holding mobile phones and other gadgets, one of the best ways to address the reading problem of learners is to maximize the use of the said gadgets by utilizing them to conduct reading activities so that children will become more engaged and motivated. As we implement distance learning delivery modality, let us use the children's love for these stuffs as an opportunity to inculcate themselves the habit of reading. Activities like reading, inspiring stories through Facebook or Messenger could not be of great help. Part of it can be a sort of discussion or answering comprehension questions on a group chat would be tackle on the interest of the learners about the stories they read. However, these early graders would be needing more guidance and support from their parents and guardians as they face the unique learning journey via home-based learning, distance learning system in this new normal, stage of education, the roles of parents and immediate families in monitoring and guiding the distance learning performance, and taste of early grade learners are also essential and indispensable. In order to sustain the emergent literacy instruction for the early graders, they would be receiving supplemental and alternative learning modules and other instructional tools. This is through the novel initiatives and services of the Department of Education and its partners, teachers, and school. The Education Department and the faculty are in one with the advocacy of fostering sustainable agency, literacy instruction, and early literacy education, which are believed to be the foundation of these early grades in their beginning, learning endeavor and journey. Thus, this learning, their journey should not be handled amidst the crisis. On this year's International Literacy Day, we call upon every individual not only appreciate the teachers in our lives, past or present, but also appreciate the crucial role that educators play in promoting quality literacy programs with a particular focus on youth and adult literacy. In the wake of the global pandemic, we owe to draw key learnings from the world with initial responses to education in COVID-19 for future benefits. Lastly, reading is tool to make other learnings possible because one can supplement his learnings through it. Thus, it is imperative to make all our children reading lovers. Despite of the COVID-19 pandemic, let us receive the silver lining that we can be able to hold learners with passion and enthusiasm to read. Thank you so much and mabuhay. I'm Ambassador Dr. Lilibeth GreGorio from the Philippines. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lilibeth, for sharing your views with all of us. Over to Winnie. Winnie, are you available?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you. Dr. Lilibeth. I think from Lilibeth's sharing from the Philippines, she mentioned about, I think, the challenge and obstacle after COVID-19. The crisis is not about the electricity and internet. So the crisis definitely come from the learner, lack of motivation, and also the parents are confusing and stressful, and definitely educator need to relearn and reimagine the new learning, the method of after pandemic. So thank you so much. Yeah, so next I would like to invite our next speaker. So she is a global awareness on the issues surrounding adult and child literacy. So she is Agnes Fortune Cannon. Hi, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our session. So Miss Agnes, she is I think she is speaking from the role of a mother of a 2 grown sons and born in Libya, brought up in USA and moved back to Africa, open to orphanage, one in Ghana and Libya. She started with 10 kids and now have up to 50 kids. Wow, I think definitely you have many to share with us from your real life experience. And schooling, taking care of the orphan, giving them better lives, showing them love, how to love themselves. So, Miss Agnes, the floor is yours. Please take the floor. We are here to listen to your life experience and story.
I'm honored to be part of this panel. The subject is very important, literacy, because I was born in Liberia and they had a 16-year war. So during that 16 years, a lot of kids did not go to school. They wasn't schooling, the girls wasn't schooling. So we have a lot of that in Liberia right now as we speak. The children having children. So there is no, now the epidemic has come and even made it worse. So we have a lot of, education is the key, teaching them how to read, how to do basic skill, mothers teaching their children. And we try to teach the little children because they are very fast. They learn fast, and some of them go home and teach their parents. They read to the parents, they teach their parents the basic they learn in school. So our objective is no kids left behind. Every kid that stay in the orphanage, they have the opportunity to go to school. They have the opportunity to learn to read and write. They have the opportunity to better themselves education-wise and reading. So they'll go back to their parents or their sisters and their aunties and teach them what they know. So we are really fighting literacy in Liberia because due to the 16-year war and the epidemic has really set us back another 20 years. So we have a lot of teenage mothers, kids having kids, and there's no classroom. So we're trying to implement that, trying to teach them how to read and make themselves, teach them how to take care of themselves, because education is the key. You have to have the basic education. You have to know how to write your name, it's a lot of things you need to learn. So through the basic education, we can teach them and they can manage to maintain their lifestyle. As going to the market, running a little business, they need to learn how to count. So we are starting from a ground level of teaching them how to read, write, and add. So it's a challenge right now, but we're trying to manage it.
Miss Agnes?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is that all from you?
Oh, I can go on by my time. So the more,
Wow.
but the most important thing is we're starting to educate. We're starting to know that education is the key, because you cannot travel from one country to the other country if you don't know how to write your name or you don't know anything about writing.
Thank you, Agnes, for being here with us. I think there is some internet glitch. So Winnie, we can carry forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think from all the honorable speakers, education and literacy need work hand in hand. So now it's the final time. Thank you again for being with us.
For the
So,
computer mind, they can absorb.
Hello? Oh, okay. Show you?
Yes.
Yes, Miss Agnes. Would you like to say something again? Yes.
Yes. Like we said, the younger generation, the minds are very sharp. So we are very successful with the younger kids than the adults, because the kids absorbs very quickly, easily, as far as learning, reading, and putting math together. So we are having challenges with the older generation, but the younger ones are we are doing very well with them. As long as they're in school, they're doing better. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so now after hearing these wonderful thoughts and insights, so in here, we would like to ask all the dear honorable guests. So would you please just give your one remark before we end the session? So today we learned that world literacy is important. World literacy is a human right and social justice. We would like to hear from you. So would you just, in the end, just say one final remark to all of our participants here? So
we look forward only in one statement, because we have to take care of the time to move to our next segment.
Yes. So I would like to request all guests, Dr. Ruben, Miss Agnes, and also Dr. Suji. So would you like to?
Vinny, we can start. Yes.
Just give us a second. We are just giving a mute option to all our guests. Just give us 1 minute. I would request the technical team to give the unmute option to all our guest speakers today.
Vinny, we can start with Sanjeev, sir.
Okay, yeah.
And one statement, friends, speakers, panelists, only one statement, crisp, so that we can move to the next segment.
Sanjeev, sir.
Dr. Sanjeev?
Yeah.
Yes, would you like to have some remark for us? Yeah, one statement, the important message from you.
I have already made my statement during my speech that both literacy and education, unless and until they have the combined objectives, one cannot, it is like left hand and the right hand. And like if you have a left hand not there or right hand not there, so we are handicapped. So I think we are handicapped if literacy and education don't go hand in hand. So I think it is very much important that both should have the common objectives. Sometimes one exceeds the other, sometimes the other exceeds the other, but nonetheless they have to work in tandem, they have to work in parallel to move ahead. That is my message to the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Friends, for the rest of the panelists, I would just like to throw a small question for your remark. How do you think literacy works when it comes to prevention of suicide? We all talked about literacy in various ways. So my question is, how do you think literacy helps in preventing suicides? Quickly, just a short statement. Vilma? Dr. Lilibeth?
Well, literacy is really important because if a person knows how to write and read, he can understand the world, and then he or she can do their own choices. He or she won't depend on anyone to think for them. So it's really important. And also, as I said, it's interesting that we also worry about feelings, not just writing or reading.
Thank you. We have Agnes, Ruben, and Vilma.
Well, go ahead, Agnes.
Okay. Literacy is, as far as society goes, we have to, because these people have to build families and they have to have their own business, go about their normal lives. So it's very important that the basic training is put in place as far as reading, writing, and adding, and how to interact socially with each other. So it's very important to balance the equation as far as communication, orally, and written, so they have to kind of balance the scale a little bit.
Great. So let me add something that we need to be emotionally literate. What does it mean? It means that feelings are very strong in order to counteract seizures. And the idea of suicide is something negative, but how can we attack that negative thing into a positive thing? We can use literacy in writing, for example. There is one therapy that we always say our students, when you have problems, write down what makes you feel bad, and read it once and again and try to see the solutions on that. So through writing the negative things in order to attack them is a good way to counteract those things or thoughts about committing suicide. But this suicide feeling is something that we have to deal with psychologically and psychiatrically, because it's a disease, it's emotional disease. But one thing is good, and you can read also books about counteracting, about diminishing these kinds of feelings. So this is something that literacy contributes a lot with this matter.
Thank you, Dr. Ruben. So we have another guest. Would you like to say something? Dr. Lilibeth? What's the role of a literacy?
Okay, so as an educator, we will put this literacy a very formal manners in the basic learning needs of learners, because we can have individual strategies in which the educators can give supplemental reading on this kind of motivation. And we have a tool on this. So we have the adults for the early intervention of the reading. And these instances that the children can read and write, and of course, not only read and write, but they can express themselves. They can express their feelings. They can express their emotions, as well as they can express whatever intentions that we have in the basic learning skills of literacy. So overall, we will have the physical, emotional, mental, and social impact, visualization of the learners, in order that this learner must have a wholesome learner and become a wholesome learners in a grade level. So step by step in a sense. Okay, that's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you. I think as we talk about today's important topic, literacy, and also we also touch down from the literacy from different angle. We talk about the emotional, physical literacy is very important. Yeah, definitely. I have some very shocking survey from the UNESCO. So on September 10th, we are going to generate awareness of the World Suicide Prevention Day. So each year on September 10th, we will promote this World Suicide Prevention Day. It's a growing problem, and the number are telling a shocking story. The survey says every 40 seconds, someone takes their own life, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. That's about 800,000 people worldwide every year. Although some estimate put that number close to 1 million. Think about 40 seconds, 1 million suicide. So suicide is the leading cause of the death for people aged 15 to 29. That's also we talk about the word literacy is quite important to help our young adult and especially women, for every suicide results in death. So there are as many as 40 attempted suicide. So what we know for sure is that there is a lot left to educate for. So thank you so much. Today we talk about literacy. It's a powerful tool to eliminate poverty. And also it's a human right and social justice we need to promote. So thank you so much for all the honorable speaker. So over to Dr. Richna.
Well, let's see.
Oh, yes.
Over to Arundhati ma'am. Malka ma'am has just logged out, so she's
okay
in 2 minutes. So we can hand it over to Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri.
Welcome.
Ma'am, just a moment. We will just withdraw
Okay,
the.
till then I will share my view about literacy, world literacy. All right. Everybody, it was a very enlightening discussion. We all spoke about literacy. Actually, literacy leads to education. Literacy is the building block of education, I would say, but without literacy, gaining of knowledge is not complete. I wouldn't say impossible, but it's not complete, because these are two different terms. Being literate is one and being educated is one, and being knowledgeable is the next thing. Anyway, this is a, this forms a foundation to your education. And about education, in our scriptures, there is a very beautiful saying by, Chanakya, Acharya Chanakya, Vidya Dhanam Sarva Dhana Pradhanam. Now, why? Like, this is the only wealth, the education, the knowledge what we have is the only wealth which others cannot rob us of. That is a very, very powerful statement. Today, in this technological world, a lot of information is flowing. Everything is available at the fingertip. And, you know, we have a lot of money and I mean, you know, a lot of disposable income, you call it, or everything, all materials on one side, but your knowledge is on the other side. So today, in today's world, knowledge rules. If you have knowledge, if you have understanding, and that rules. So literacy is very important, and we all are educators, and we have become educators because there is that passion inside us. It's not just for the income. Yes, income we want, but we are also interested in the outcome. Our outcome is our student, how efficient we make them. So my message to everyone, not just the teachers and educators, everyone around the world is, please, please be aware that every child, it's a human birthright to get literacy. So try to teach. You don't have to be always on a global platform to teach. Just, you know, do something for your own mates' children, your own drivers' children, or your own neighbors who are not able to learn. So that will empower. So that is my message on Literacy Day. Over to you, Malika, Dr. Malika.
Thank you so much, everybody. And sorry for the interruption. I'm not at fault. It's the electricity.
Okay.
So, my dear friends, we've had a wonderful discussion and views from all our panelists, you know, on Literacy Day, and ma'am has also shared. So now we will proceed to our next segment of this evening, World Suicide Prevention Day. So my friends, the goal of World Suicide Prevention Day is to shine a light on the problem in hopes of reaching people who are struggling before it's too late. The theme of 2021 is creating hope through action. So we have with us Dr. Arundhati. Ma'am is an educationist and a lifelong learner. Ma'am is consultant for Cambridge International Schools, former director principal of reputed Cambridge International Schools and IB World School in Mumbai. Ma'am is also author, journalist, poet, visual artist, felicitated with awards on national and international platforms. We are happy and glad to have you amongst us, ma'am, on this evening of Shield 2021. We heartily welcome you, and the entire global educators fraternity welcome you. Ma'am, the floor is all yours, and kindly highlight and you know, apprise us on the World Suicide Preventions. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Good evening to all those in the Eastern Zone, and good day to all those in the Western Zone. I'm Dr. Arundhati Hoskeri, consultant in education for Cambridge Schools, as Dr. Malika already said. I'm from Mumbai, India. I'm an educationist for the past 36 years, and 21 years I have headed the schools as a principal and as a director. Well, there is again a beautiful saying in our scriptures, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. For others, those who do not have knowledge of Sanskrit, it simply means that our mind is the most powerful tool. Our mind is the ultimate cause of bondage as well as salvation. You may say, what is this? Like, you know, how can it be responsible for salvation? And how can it be always like, you know, for salvation as well as bondage? Yes, it is. Because whenever whatever we manifest in our life, whether it is success or failure, love or hatred, or, you know, like contentment or frustration, call it anything. Everything first shapes up in our mind, in our thoughts. So what happens is, if we learn to choose good thoughts, keep away or at least control our negative thoughts, we can avoid many unpleasant situations in life. I'm sure all of you agree with me over here.
Yes.
So on the occasion of World Suicide Prevention Day that is celebrated on every year on 10th of September, I'm glad to share my thoughts on how we adults can help our teens in managing their emotions and stay mentally fit. This topic is very, very wide. You know, it has a very wide canvas. It can happen at any age, up till the age, right, old age. But I'm focusing on the teens because we are all educators. So teens suffer a lot. So my focus today will be on the teens. But generally it is applicable to all. So this is an attempt to create awareness about, how sometimes adolescent children suffer in their own, way and in their own world, and basic thing is how we can help them to cope up. That is my focus today. Now, who are teens? Usually we consider teens as 13 to 19. That's why they are called as teenagers, right? Now, teenagers means that's a period of adolescence. But now this can set in little early or little late. That also we are aware. But you will be surprised to know WHO today defines adolescence as children from 10 years to 19 years age group. It means it has set in quite earlier. This is because of, again, lot of exposure and lot of knowledge what the kids are getting. So they are getting more aware, and adolescence is setting earlier. Now, the period of adolescence actually is a transition from puberty to adulthood. It's not an easy task. See, for us, like children are born and they go through, childhood and boyhood, and then they start getting older. That's not like that. Even we have gone through that stage. And we all agree that that's a very, very stressful period, because it is characterized by so many rapid changes, rapid physical development and emotional development and psychological development. It keeps on happening, which is sometimes difficult for the children to cope up. Why sometimes it's always difficult for the children to cope up, but it all depends on what kind of support they are getting at home or at schools, so that, children can really do well. And, if they get a conducive environment and guidance, then, this transition is very smooth. Otherwise, it can really be very, very difficult for children. So actually, we are talking about World Suicidal Day. No, suicidal tendencies actually are very, very, they come in the later stage. First, let me discuss about, the depression. Like what do I exactly mean by depression? Let me talk. Because suicide doesn't happen over the, immediately over whenever any stress comes in life. So suicidal tendencies are a result of severe mental depression. And depression is a word which has got a very, social stigma attached to it. People don't even want to discuss it. People don't even want to talk about it. I'll tell you my own example. When I was in high school, my mom wanted me to attend, evening dinner at her friend's place. We all were supposed to go. So I was, I just told her, Mom, I'm not feeling too good. I'm a bit depressed. So you all go. I don't want to accompany. My mom was shocked. She sat next to me. She said, what are you talking? Don't use heavy words like this. Don't even mention it to yourself. You have no idea. The minute the word spreads anywhere that, then you will be branded as somebody who has got a mental problem. No boy will come forward to marry you. This I'm talking, this has actually happened. So this is the, reality. But even today, with all the awareness, society is understanding and opening up, no doubt about it. They are gathering the information. But what is happening is, even today, the parents do not want to even think that their kids can have depression. That is the worst part. They don't even want to feel. Whatever happens now, we all talk about depression, we all talk about suicide, but our thought process is, it happens in somebody else's house. Oh my God, so sad, why it happened, how it happened. But we never want to think that it can happen to us. Why not? I can get depressed, my kids can get depressed. What is wrong with it? It's a mental state that kids go through. So that is another thing. As an educational leader, as a head of the school, I have faced a lot of problems. Whenever I called a parent to tell him that, okay, your child requires some help, and he's whenever there is a disruptive behavior in a kid. So I have always done this. So please, you take him to a psychologist or something. I have faced quite a lot of, resistance. Nowadays, thanks to Thare Jameen Par and Amir Khan, people are proud to say that, oh, my kid is dyslexic because we get concessions and all that. But they are not ready to accept that their children can be anxious, they go through depression and all these things. So that is even today the scenario. Now let us quickly understand what are the causes of this depression, why kids get depressed. Okay, first thing is like it could be due to some biochemicals in the body, that is, I could call it on all the hormones or differences in the chemical levels. It's not always the hormones. What happens is sometimes it could be even hypervitaminosis or hypovitaminosis or thyroidism. All these conditions also can trigger your brain of the serotonin levels, and the kids can go into depression. And sometimes depression is also genetic. If there is a history that runs in the families of mental disorders, it can happen. Again, mild to severity, what stage they are in depends on what is the other, so many other factors over there. Then, low self-esteem. The kids who do not believe in themselves, they get overwhelmed. The minute little stress is there, they get overwhelmed. They want to be pampered around, and they want that, oh, no, you can't do this, you will do this. They are gullible for this kind of a thing. Then another thing is disturbing environmental, external environment. This I don't have to name the countries and name the zones. So much of violence around the world, girl safety is not there. Kids are the very soft targets for any predators, I would say. The kids are targeted. So if you expect very strong mental hygiene from those kids, how is it possible? That also can trigger depression. And then the family atmosphere. So broken homes and poverty. Poverty is one of the reasons. It's not always the poverty. It is the family, binding, how people are there. So even if people are, very rich, what they do is they think, okay, I can buy him PS5, I can buy him the high-end mobile, I can give him pocket money, everything they provide. And, they teach indulgence to children, but there is no emotional security for the kids. They are deprived emotionally. They are constantly left to the ayahs and drivers. You don't know how your kids are treated by them. I'm glad somebody mentioned about emotional education. That is very, very important in today's this thing. It's not always the marks, or it's not always the competition, or it's not always your talents, but mentally, emotionally, we have to train our children. That is the first thing to stop depression. You may find depressed people all around, even as adults, you could find them among your friends or workplace or family or, neighborhood, whatever. Now, whenever you find a nitpicker, they were never appreciated when they grew up. They are the ones who will always find faults with the system. You tell him anything, no, this is not right, that is not right, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. These nitpickers never were happy children because they never got acknowledged or appreciated. And that is always finding fault with others. That shows low self-esteem. If you don't have confidence in yourself, you want to feel empowered by picking up and pecking up on others. So that is the thing. And there are some category of people who always make fun of others, oh, this one is bad, that one is dark, this one is tall, this one is short. See, physical appearance has only one level of acceptance. Of course, as a person, you have to talk. You have no business or no right to talk about others. These were all the kids who were always targeted and, ridiculed when they were growing up, trust me. And a person who is constantly cribbing about anything and everything. There are adults who crib around everything. You give them anything, but they will say, oh, if only this was like this, it would happen like that. Oh, this is not working. You give them 101 ideas. All 101 ideas they will negate and tell you, no, ma'am, I tried this. You mean to say I didn't try this? I have tried it. It's not working. Okay, try this. No, even that doesn't work. So these are all the people, either they are heading towards depression or they are already in depression. Trust me when I say this. All right. Now, if this is the case, then what is our responsibility? There is a huge responsibility on the adults. They may be parents, siblings, teachers, and relatives, or whatever role we are playing in the life of children. We have a great responsibility. Whenever another thing I'll tell you, or anything goes wrong with the children, I mean, school is to be blamed. Oh, teachers are not caring these days, and teachers are not working, and the child gets very good marks and comes, our teachers work so hard, still parents will, no, I had put him for private tuition and that teacher is very good, I'm sorry to say this. You can give external help, but don't demean the school, don't demean the teachers who are working so much for you. As I told, if we didn't have any passion, we wouldn't be in this profession. We could do 101 things, not just, getting into education. All right. So how to identify, what are the general symptoms in the teenagers? How to identify depression? First thing is lack of concentration and inability to think clearly. The kid, loses concentration. It could happen even at home, like sitting and watching television, switching the channel every 2 minutes also shows mental unrest, whether it's adult or a child, because you're not feeling peaceful with you. It's not that you're not finding the programs good or bad. That is another thing. Second thing is loss of interest in the favorite activities and exasperation and fatigue. If a child comes and says, oh, I'm so tired, I can't do this, I can't do that. What, like 14, 15 years, if you start behaving like 60, 70, that is something there is going wrong then, and also loss of interest in the favorite games. If the child enjoyed outside sports, he refuses to go. If he enjoyed chess or tennis, whatever, they will refuse to do that. Then that is a sign that something mentally they are having disturbance. And sudden weight gain and sudden weight loss. Okay, binge eating, like you're going on eating, and then what happens is inactivity, lot of eating and lot of mental stress lead to thyroidism, which often we don't relate to. Even the kids these days are getting this kind of a thing. Or even emotional disorders are common these days. In one of the schools where I worked, I had a case of bulimia. A girl was like, she was plump and she was dark, and all her dream was, like other girls, she wanted to be slim and she wanted to flaunt and she wanted to wear different clothes. Coming from a very affluent family, the child went on becoming thin and thin. One day the mother wanted to meet me. I said, why she wants to meet me? Ask her to go to school counselor. I was pretty busy. But then I said, I can't deny a parent, right? I said, okay, come, like, what is your problem? No, ma'am, my daughter is eating a lot, but I'm really worried. All her tests are negative, and all her blood count is fine, but she's losing weight like anything, and that's really scaring me. So, like, I just want to take your this thing. So then my mind worked. I'm a great fan of Sherlock Holmes, so my mind started working in a different direction. I told, all right, don't worry, I will check it. Next 3 days, I kept a vigil on that girl. I appointed 3 different maids to check her lunch time, what she's doing and how she's doing. So she used to get the whole thing. She ate very happily. Then she went to washroom and she threw everything up. And first day I thought maybe the kid is not well. Second day also it happened. Third day also it happened. Then one of the maid was very intelligent. She said, ma'am, I think I have a feeling that she was inducing vomiting. And that was the signal enough for me. Then I called the child all alone. I shut the doors. I said, I'm not even calling the psychologist, not your mother. I am going to talk to you. I'm head of school, right? You have to talk to me. Then the child started crying. I said, why are you doing this? Then she admitted, no, my mom doesn't listen if I want to eat less, and that this is a mental disorder called as bulimia. So children forcefully, they throw it out. So they want to become thin. So these kind of things, like, and also disrupted sleeping patterns are very common in the teenagers. So if they don't sleep, then what they do, they are all the time on the social media. You just watch 3 o'clock also, 4 o'clock also, 3 o'clock also they are. And when are they going to sleep? Our brain requires rest, right? So that is another thing. And gloomy temperament and not wanting to get into any physical activities. And also a child starts feeling guilty and worthless. And then the suicidal thoughts and tendencies develop in them. And suddenly low academic performance from average to bright kids. Okay, if they were performing well and if they are not doing so, we need to understand, okay, boss, something is going wrong. I need to help this kid out. So that should be it should be a warning signal for us. So as per the 2019 India Today report, 1 in 4 teenagers in India suffer from depression. Yet we pretend that it's happening elsewhere, not in our homes, not in our schools. So we feel, no, we are all safe zone. No, that's not true. And one student among every 4 hours commits a suicide. If this is to be believed, this is a very scary thing. And then the next question comes: is depression treatable? Yes, 100% depression is treatable. But the first thing is to create awareness among people. Don't be ashamed or afraid to admit that your kid can go through depression. So if we come to know immediately, like, you don't have to use a heavy word depression, forget it. If your child is restless, if your child is disturbed, you start working on the child and the child can come out of it and cope up beautifully. You could, protect your kid. So depression actually is among the most treatable mental disorders. About 75 to 85% of people get help. I won't say they will be completely out of it, because that is a tendency people develop over the years. So it is not be, I'll be wrong if I say it will be completely gone. So they will have the tendencies. We have to keep on watching them and provide them with a proper support. Okay. And a proper diagnosis is needed over here, collecting the family history. Sometimes even blood tests will, to rule out all the endocrine imbalances are required. And studying the behavior pattern of children. Once in a while, the child is crying or child is upset, we can't label him as a depressed kid. We have to wait and watch how repeatedly these things are happening. So we have to take the right course of action. To tell you very frankly, our teachers are not psychologists to identify immediately the thing. That is why wherever I worked, I used to conduct a session with teachers. At least once in a month, I would talk, and I worked very close with the SEND department, special educational needs. So I would study the profile of each child and guide my teachers, so that every head should, get into. Now, according to new education policy, BEd course is going to have a little bit of psychology, and I'm very, very glad about it. So, but the point is, at least the teacher should be able to, give a indication and indicators, so that the parents are made aware, and then we can send the kids to the school psychologist, school counselor, and then, seek some help. Sometimes the schools are not having enough facility for all the, like psychologists and remediation and all that. In that case, what they do is they will hire an external agency. So wherever it is, we need to help children. Now, suicide happens in extreme cases. Causes for such act are innumerable, and I can't discuss it in all this short time. So it is a duty of every adult around them, around the kids, to protect them from reaching such an extreme stage. So how do we do it? With all the advanced technology and progress and modern lifestyle, life is becoming more and more complex. Okay, so teens these days have many distractions. Okay, they are too pressurized to cope up. You may wonder, what is there to, they are not supposed to earn money, or they just have to go to school and, study. What stress our kids are having? You are completely wrong. Children, as I told you, adults build their own world and their own cocoon around them. So for them, even on a social media, a kid protects her, posts her picture, which is very beautiful. Okay, which is very beautiful. But no likes are given. How the cyberbullying happens? Other kids tell, hey, this one has posted a picture, dare anybody put a like, completely ignore. So the child goes every hour, every half an hour saying, no like, no like. That also can be a disturbing factor. This happens with the adults also. Many times adults speak to me, I'm these days feeling very bad, and nobody is bothered about me. I said, are you posting the picture only to get likes? Then you are wrong. You do it for yourself, and it's your feel good factor, then you don't have to. So the kids go through this. And actually the life of teens is more complex than we think. The stress that builds up can lead to depression. Then bombardment of too much of information, and many a times incorrect information, leads to a lot of stuff like teenage pregnancy, and children, body shaming happens with children, and they are in a very vulnerable state. If we don't give them, as a school or as homes, parents or teachers, if we don't impart proper knowledge, then naturally they are gullible for getting wrong information. Then we scold them, and then we point a finger, oh, how this happened, we never teach this in school, we never teach it in home. Right, you didn't teach bad behavior, but did you focus on the good behavior? Did you study the behavior pattern of a child, is my question. So, and constantly pushing the children for academic excellence also is very stressful. Never, see, as a parent, even my aim is to give the best. What I couldn't get, I want to impart it to my children. That's a very natural feeling for humans. Okay, I agree with that. But there must be a limit. We can't force a child. If you are a doctor, your husband is a doctor, family of doctors. If a child wants to become a rock singer, please let him go. Let him explore his life. Who knows? He may become very good in that also. Whatever they want to do them. Don't force what they don't like. That is my message. So how we really take care of them now. Keep the communication channel open with them and develop the trust. Whenever any disturbance is there, small or big, your kid should have the, I would say that confidence in you to come and unburden, come and tell, see, this is what is happening, whatever. Even when they do something wrong, they have to come and tell you. That is the bond you have to create as a teacher with a child and as a parent with a child. And, spend time with them. Money doesn't always compensate for love and time. How children spell money is T-I-M-E, not M-O-N-E-Y. However much you give, but they want your attention. They want you to sit with them. Actually, Chanakya has said, Chanakya is my favorite, so I'm quoting, sorry, this is another quote. Lalayet panchavarshani dashavarshani tadayet prapte tu shodashe varshe putram mitra vadacharet. What do I mean by this? You have to pamper a kid till he is 5 years, he or she is 5 years, because they are too small to understand. Don't try to too much discipline, too much sermon. Sometimes the parents, 2.5-year-old baby, yesterday I told you this, how many times I have to tell you, you're doing the same thing. You know what? The kid's frontal lobe is not completely developed. Whatever information you gave yesterday was processed only for that particular time. It is not retained. You can't blame a child. But when they reach 10 years, then you start disciplining them because they now are into the adult world. They're trying to gain things. But when they become 16 years, when they become 15 or 16, treat them like your friends. Just look at this wisdom. So you can't treat them like small. Oh, my baby, my small baby. For a mother, even a 50 or 60-year-old boy and girl are also babies. I understand. But try to treat them with age appropriate way and handle them with patience. And don't yield to all the demands. Say patience means I'm not saying everything, whatever they wish you give. No, don't give. But you give a reason. Don't ridicule them or don't condemn them or don't snap at them when they ask something. Because they are asking because they are seeing it in all their teen group, whatever the kids are getting. So you tell them, no, better like I can't do this or I can't. You have to give an explanation and understand. And watch out for any warning signals of stress or depression and immediately try to remove those things, iron those wrinkles, then the kid will be fine. And don't be afraid to seek professional help. This I'm saying it again for the second time. We have a huge responsibility of making them best fit into the society. Today, our society is not only Mumbai or India or Maharashtra. Our society is the entire globe. We are preparing our kids for global citizenship. So let's be sensitive towards children and groom them in the best possible way and teach them. Most important thing is teach them to accept failures. Every time, everything I write need not be a very good thing, or every time I do something need not be worthy of getting the first rank or whatever. It's not always achievement. Sometimes you have to fail in life, then only you will realize, okay, how I am to, get into success. So teach children, it's okay, beta, if you didn't get good marks, that's fine with me. If you didn't win the race, fine with me. You participated, that is more important. So be very sensitive to children. We can really, really avoid the damage. So thank you so much. I think 2 more minutes are left, but I don't want to overshoot. So over to you, Malika. Thank you. Thank you all for your patient hearing. And thank you, Rachna. And you've been doing a wonderful job. And thank you, Malika and Winnie, for your, hosting the show. Thank you.
Malka ma'am, I would just like to add on to what Arundhati ma'am said, that yes, creating an awareness for suicide prevention is the need of the hour, because due to this lockdown, many of them are under depression, which we don't come to know, although outward they look very much normal. So being an handwriting expert, quickly I'll just take 1 minute to identify the sign of depression. If a person is not writing on a straight line, if the sentences are going beyond the line towards the bottom, what do we call pessimistic? If something goes down, so that is a sign of suicidal tendency. So being an alert citizen, each one of us can identify with the signature. If it is going beyond the baseline, beyond the straight line, it is an alarming signature. That person, whether it be a child or an adult, requires counseling. And if there is a lot of spacing between two words, that person wants isolation. He wants his own space. And when a person wants isolation, that again may be one of the suicidal tendency because the person might be under depression. So if you find these two signs in anyone who is writing, please counsel, please talk to them, please give the person love, support, so that the person can open up. And if each one of us just saves one society, yes, we have done our part. With this, Malka ma'am, over to you.
Actually, Rachna, thanks for bringing this, because it was on my mind. I wanted to mention this point, but the clock started ticking away. I didn't want to show time, but thank God, like you mentioned this is very true what she said. And she's a handwriting expert. Actually, graphology is directly connected to your brain cells. So whatever you think, you write. Of course, when the handwriting is bad, always it doesn't mean that the child is having a trouble. Maybe having a neurological problem also can lead to some bad handwriting. But what she is discussing is when normal children start writing very bad, or they can identify. So anybody wanting for your school or your kids around, go to Rachna. She's too good at it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Arundhati, for touching on the very, very sensitive areas to help us know how we can also contribute in preventing suicide. Thank you so much, ma'am. We have our viewers, audience, guests with us. If any one of you have any question to Dr. Arundhati, you are open to it. In the meantime, you raise your hand. I will just have a small quick question to Dr. Arundhati. Ma'am, is it true that men commit suicide more often than women? Ma'am, unmute. Ma'am, kindly unmute, yes.
Yeah. It is true. Why it happens is women have a better way of coping up with things, psychological disturbances. See, they sit and cry. But for men, we condition the boys. Oh, you're a boy. Why are you crying? Don't cry. You fell down. You're a boy. Nothing will happen. So children, men actually, like when they are growing up, they are asked to suppress those thoughts and they are never allowed to express. If a boy cries, what are you crying like a girl? Don't ever say that. I told you, this topic is so wide, I can go on for hours and hours. So these are the things. That is why men cannot cope up many a times and they get too stressed. Leave about suicidal tendencies. Even if they don't like something in their wives, they are scared to tell that, It's not that the wife is going to leave him and go, but still that is how the mental makeup of men is built over the years. And they cannot cope up and they easily give into alcohol, easily give into smoking. These days, of course, women are also getting into that. I'm not only saying men, it's a universal thing, it's becoming. But yes, you are right. Women can actually cope up mechanism for them is, good enough, very well built. If nothing happens, they will sit and cry their heart out and release their emotions. That's the thing.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Anybody from our audience have any question?
Hello.
Yes,
hello.
Who is it? Yes.
Hello, good evening. Good evening, ma'am. First of all, you have given nice presentation. But the thing is that as far as the sociology is concerned, they say that suicide is good for the society. How?
No. I don't say suicide is good for society. For me, actually, human life is very precious. And whatever happens, we have to teach the children to, come out of it, teach the adults. See, problems come everywhere. Only because we have the capability of thinking and, we are visualizing, we are thinking, we have got emotional side, so we suffer. That's okay. We should try to come out of it. See, the trees and the birds and all, they also must be going through so much, but they don't have so much of well-developed brain to get into depression. Will you leave eating a chicken if it is getting depressed, but still you cut and eat it, right? That is not the thing. Human life, why we call it precious is we have that awareness and we have that processing power for our brain, and we have to think and we have to produce. I will never ever say suicide is good for society. I mean, I don't
Ma'am,
believe
there is
that.
one of the suicide type of suicide that is altruistic suicide.
What is that?
People do suicide for the fame, for other things. Altruistic suicide.
Are you talking about, like those who bomb, self-bombers and all that, those kind of things you are talking?
Yeah, they do for the same, for the fame.
See, no. When you are talking about this, that itself is a complete sign of depression. They are completely brainwashed. By killing yourself, you cannot bring happiness in others. If there is no happiness in you, how can you distribute to others? And this is all, conditioning of like brainwashed. All, I don't want to take the names. Such children are caught young and provided with anything and everything and constantly brainwashed. That, you are suffering, like your community is suffering, your country is suffering. You do this, so you will be releasing. So that is a complete slow poisoning is done for the brains, and that is the highest type of what do you say, depression. And children, I mean, whoever does these kind of things now, they have no awareness. They lose complete track of what they are doing. That is the thing. Exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Arundhati, for throwing lights on all the questions asked by our guests, and it's really amazing. Actually, you rightly said it's a very, very vast topic, and we really cannot conclude it within a couple of minutes or hours. So definitely, we would look forward to having a complete session with you and to know better, so that we can also contribute to humanity and we can save lives. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
So,
Ma'am, I just want to share something.
Yeah, sure.
Good evening to all the dignitaries, Rachna ma'am, Arundhati ma'am. I just want to say that, if we believe in friendship, if we have good friends, if we can laugh and ventilate our problems, I think prevention of suicide can take place. So it's very important in life to have friends, good friends. They are really real treasures in life. Family members, relatives, blood relations are actual distant relations. But it's the friends actually who you should have, some person in your life, like a shoulder to cry on, ventilate your problems. I think if that a person has, you can tackle so many problems and prevent suicides.
Thank you, Maua. Thank you so much for your inputs. So friends, we are running out of time, and thank you, Maua, for your inputs. And before we proceed towards the vote of thanks, I would just like to share with you our upcoming events that we look forward to. So my dear friends, our upcoming event is on 14th of September 2021 on the virtual platform, and that is Acharya Chanakya Shikshavid Samman, which has entered in World Book of Records London by felicitating maximum number of educators on the virtual platform non-stop for 12 hours simultaneously on 2 Zoom platforms. And friends, we shall be shortly coming up with our international global awards as well, because we are a global educators fraternity. And very soon we will be moving on to physical events as well. So we will keep it hybrid. We will be on the virtual mode because our friends, our global community who cannot join us physically, we are always there to connect on the virtual platform. But yes, whosoever and wheresoever we can connect physically, we will be looking forward to physical events. So stay tuned with us, log into our Facebook page, log into our website, Global Educators Fraternity. So friends, now I move towards my vote of thanks, keeping it very, very short and simple. I would sincerely thank all my panelists, our keynote speaker, our guests who have joined us, my dear friend who's been a support to me throughout this evening from last 1 hour, 46 minutes, Winnie. And yes, not to forget, I place on record my special thanks to the organizing team, which comprises of Mr. Amit Kumar, Professor Dr. Ajay Shahi, Miss Pratibha Mishra, and of course, none other than Miss Rachna Vimrajka, who is amongst us, and friends. The most important people we need to thank is our technical team, who is working behind the curtains, behind the scenes for all of us. Thank you. Have a great day. Good night from India. And my special thanks to Winnie for being there with me. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned with us. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thank you.